We're rolling.
Did you see that?
Yeah, we're rolling. Oh.
What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. So today we are here at Goat Hill Park. We're here on the playground, which is their little 3-hole challenge, which each of the holes are like 50 yards, I'd say, a little less. I think it goes like around 50, 35 yards and 50 yards, which is the perfect practice facility for pitching, which is what we are going to talk about today. So welcome to Pitching 101. Alright, you guys, so I feel like pitching is the one part of golf that I feel like it's maybe not talked about enough and is not practiced enough. If I'm being like full transparency, I feel like pitching is one of the reasons why I especially didn't make it on tour. I didn't put enough time into it, and I didn't set myself up to try and master it. I would always just work around it, and I think that's often what people try and do, and a lot of pros do too, is that even though statistically the closer you are to the hole with your approach shot, the better chance you'll have at a lower score. For me, I would never lay it under 60 yards because I never wanted to hit a pitch shot, but had I mastered that, I feel like I could have definitely shot a lot lower. So I want to teach you guys a few techniques to just understand how pitching works and also gain confidence around these short, awkward shots. So let's get to it. Alright, so firstly we'll talk about what is a pitch shot for those of you who are newer to the game. So a pitch shot is in between a full shot and a chip. To me, a chip is considered any shot that's maybe around 30 yards or less, or depending on the player, because I know there's a lot of differences in distances between men and women. For me, a pitch shot is when you go above club parallel to the ground. Like, I consider anything below this backswing a chip shot. And then a pitch shot is anywhere from the letter L, which is what I call it, the letter L and on. Honestly, whenever I have my wedges in hand, when it's a 60, 55, or 50 degree, I never actually like to full swing it. I like to feel like I swing L to L. It's always a hard pitch shot because I feel like I have a better chance at connecting with the ball as opposed to letting that golf ball slide off the face whenever you hit wedge shots. So that's a tip within a tip for you guys there. All right, so let's talk about setting up for a pitch shot. So like I mentioned before, it's in between chipping, it's in between a full shot. So for here, it's up to you, depending on the shot, if you want to choke down on the club or not. If you don't know what choking down is, it's when you're gripping down on the club. So depending on the shot, let's say if it's a third, for me, I hit my 60 degree a full 70 yards. And if I wanted to hit maybe a 30-yard shot, that's when, or 40-yard shot, I would choke down a little bit. So for here, this is about a 50-yard shot, so I'm gonna grip down just a little bit because it's close to a full swing for me, and go from there. So we now know that you have the option to grip down on it. It's a feel thing and what you're comfortable with. The moment that you get to almost a full shot, that's when I feel like you should stop gripping down. So for here, I'm going to grip down on it. Now setup wise, everything, alignment, shoulders, head, knees, toes, all needs to be the same. All your grip, stance, alignment, and posture, your G-SAP needs to be in line for a pitch shot. The difference here to me is that you may stand a little bit closer and you're going to have a bit of a bigger stance depending on the pitch shot. Because chipping, oftentimes you're taught to keep your feet together. That's how I like to chip. For pitch shots, you're going to have it like around within your shoulder width apart. So this is what a pitching stance on me looks like, and hopefully that helps some of you. So I got my grip on, I feel connected, I am closer to the ball, and I got a little stance here. If I had a 30-40 yard pitch shot, I'd even maybe be like this. But I always have a little bit of a wider stance because it's a little bit of a bigger swing and you always want stability. Alright, now we're going to walk through the swing dynamics of a pitch shot. So it is exactly the same swing as a full swing. It truly is. You just want to make a shorter backswing and a shorter follow through. For me, every time I hit a pitch shot, I actually, unless it's like almost a full swing shot, I'll have either an L to L finish, or I have my chipping finish where I go from whatever I need in the backswing to a short follow through because I feel like I'm able to hit that contact really nice. Sometimes I feel like some coaches like to teach pitch shots where you go, you know, whatever o'clock you need for that backswing, and they always tell them to finish through. For me, I feel like that initiates more of a scooping motion, and I want you guys to be able to always hit down on the ball, get that clean contact, and make sure you're not hitting shots where the ball is wiping right off. So going through the swing. For beginners, pitch shots I think seem very, very awkward, and especially because a full swing is already feeling awkward for you. Golf is an orthodox movement, but for pitch shots it's even weirder because you're saying to hit it softer. So it's really important to, one, when you have pitch shots, just as you do in a setup, make sure that you have a leaning club head and a leading shaft. When you have a leaning shaft, that's going to allow you to hit with the leading edge of the club and get that nice divot in front and have the best chance of picking it clean. The moment that your club is behind, you have a good chance of hitting fat, you have a good chance of hitting a bounce shot, and that's not what we're trying to do here. If you want to learn how to hit a bounce shot, that's a whole different technique in my opinion, but that's not, I think, the best way to go about learning as a beginner. So now going through the pitch shot, the most important part, and I think this is also so commonly said in golf, is to keep your head down, right? You hear that all the time. You don't entirely know what that means. Pitch shots, though, I will say it's most common for us. I see golfers lift up their head. One, it's a shorter swing. It's easier to look up, and you need to refrain from that. But I'm going to talk about how you can prevent that and how to get that consistent impact. So if I were to go to the side, and if I were to put a stick on my spine and let it elongate beyond my head, so we're going to actually just have my editor draw a line from my spine out, okay? And so the most important part when you're working on a pitch shot, this applies to your swing too, you guys, everything, but pitch shot, focus on it, is to make sure that you are swinging along that spine. It's like you're swinging on a swivel. Now, if in a pitch shot you change the pattern of your spine angle, let's say you lift up your spine, then you're automatically lifting up your head, and now you have no choice but to put your head back down and find that low point. So by maintaining that spine angle and swinging along it, that will help you keep your head down, that will help you make a consistent swing, and that'll help you keep your radius of your arm, which when you set up you should already be hanging, right? So if you're always swinging along that spine and there's no distance change between your spine, there's no angle change, now your arm can literally go from here and drop and swing through. If I were to go from here to lifting up my spine and I were to drop my arms, I'm gonna thin it. If I go from here and I lower my spine angle, I'm gonna chunk it. So the minimal spine angle movement, if you're just swinging on that swivel like I described, and you can do a lot of practice swings like this where you're just sweeping the ground here and sweeping the ground, going from L to L. I'll go from this view, L to L. There's not a lot that can go wrong if you're swinging on that swivel, so it'll look a little like this. All right, got my setup, leaning shaft, we're gonna go L to L, and we're gonna stay on that spine angle. I need you to show that result and zoom in because that was really good. That was a really good first swing, first pitch. I'm right in the shadow of that flag, about a little less than a 50-yard shot, and I'm maybe about 4 feet away. That's exactly what you want. Minimal mistake, easy, simple move, swinging on that spine angle. All right, so we talked about spine angle. Now I want you guys to be able to focus on getting that solid contact, making sure you're compressing and hitting down on the ball. Even when you're sweeping the ball, you're still hitting down on the ball, especially because you have a small wedge in hand. And so here's a drill that I literally would hit buckets and buckets of. My old coach used to make me do it, and I honestly think that's why I feel like I'm capable of hitting in the center every single time. And I do drills just like this, which also you can do this kind of swing for a pitch shot. Especially for beginners, I feel like it's very common to go from here, you change your spine angle, you want to look up, and we have a lot of scooping motions, right? We don't want that scooping motion. We're not trying to hit the bounce. We're not trying to help the ball up. When you hit down on the ball will actually go more up, right? So I would make swings like this. I would take the pitch shot. You can go from here. You can take it back to a full pitch backswing if you want, but here you want to actually stop at both arms straight after impact. So it looks like this. A lot of dirt on that one. One more time. To both arms straight. This is what it looks like with a shot. Same distance, 50-yard shot. But again, that's a great technique to focus on just hitting down at the ball, getting that solid contact, and steering away from trying to scoop that ball up. Again, that's taking swings and stopping at both arms straight. You don't need to take a big divot like me. That's just the way I've always practiced it. You can do it with a little less or a little shallower of a movement right here, but I promise that doing this drill is actually going to help your pitch shot so much more. And when you gain feel and you gain confidence, you can then go or choose to go letter L to letter L, Or you can keep the pitch shot stopping at both arms straight. The reason why both arms straight is so important, because if you are scooping the ball, you're likely breaking your wrist and you're trying to scoop it, correct? Well, if you're scooping the ball, there's no way you can get to both arms straight. And if you're able to get to both arms straight after impact, that tells me as a coach that you were able to have a forward leaning shaft and that your arm was bent at impact. Because the only way you can get to both arms straight is if you're bent here and you're given a reason to go to both arms straight. If you've already allowed your angles to unravel, and it's really hard to keep your arms straight without hurting yourself. You chunk it, you get stuck, you're bound to break and turn your wrist the other way. And that's what we want to refrain from. Chances are if you're doing that in your pitch shots, you're probably doing that in your full swing shots. And you actually, if you want to work on your foundation of your golf swing, I highly recommend working on these pitch shots. So 2 things again, pitching. Okay, once we get the dynamics and the setup, the G-step all in line, we're gonna focus on spine angle, right? Making sure you're swinging on that spine. There isn't any change in head movement, spine angle movement, swinging on a swivel, right? You're trying to figure out your feel, figuring out from L to L where you wanna go, or it could be a little shorter. And we're focusing on that drill, those pitch shots, going from here, both arms straight. If you're scooping it, there's no way you can get there. So if you can get these shots down, I promise your pitching game is going to improve a ton. I'm going to show you a couple of pitch shots right here, so let's see it. All right, so we're going to show some normal pitch shots, just focusing on that spine angle. So we're getting set up, bit of a smaller stance, still have that leaning club shaft, and for this pitch shot, we're going to do the L to L movement, focusing on that spine angle and swinging around it. Good one. Let's do another one. That was a good one. Ooh, close. So another thing that I want to point out that's really important, especially when not just full swing, but pitching, especially chipping too, is making sure that you're in a position where you feel like your arms are hanging. So there's no point in trying to swing on that angle if you have all this tenseness in your arms and you also feel like your arms aren't hanging. Having your arms hang is going to give you a really good feeling and foundation for where you need to come back. So if your arms are hanging from the start and you're not changing your spine angle movement, then you are bound to be able to swing through it exactly where you started, which is what you want. But if you are not feeling like your arms are hanging from the jump, then that's going to create problems and inconsistency. Also, there's a big lump in my skirt and it's up because I like to keep my golf balls there, so in case you're wondering. So now I'm going to show you some pitch shots of the finish to both arms straight, just like so, hopefully getting same or better results and showing you guys that that's exactly what you need to do to have consistent pitch shots. So here we go. Still solid. Yeah, as you can tell when you try these shots out, they definitely come out hotter. But I hit all those in the center, on the way down, and I felt like I got all of the shots and none of them slid off the club face. So that wraps it up. I hope that this has helped you gain a little more confidence or makes you feel like you want to try something new when you're working on your pitch shots out on the range. That's it for now. Let me know what other tips you want to see. If you like what you see, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notifications button so you don't miss a beat. Bye for now, you guys.